Myself, B. Raju, Assistant Professor from Department of Computer Science, and today I am going to take the topic that is types of CSS. I am going to guide you. So what is CSS and what are the types of CSS? When it comes to the types of CSS, we are having three types. We are having three types of CSS, that is external style sheet, internal style sheet, and inline style sheet. Commonly, why we use the CSS? The use of CSS is what? To give the styling rules to the HTML elements. Suppose if you want to give some styling rules to the HTML elements, then we are going to use the CSS types. So when it comes to the external style sheet, commonly external style sheet it will be used. Why? Because you are going to give the styling rules to multiple web pages or websites. So all these web pages are linked with the HTML file. So whenever you want to use the external style sheet file, you are supposed to create the two files. One is HTML file, another one is the CSS file. In CSS file, you are going to define the styling rules. You are going to define the styling rules in the CSS file. And you are going to link the CSS file with the HTML file. So how you are going to link HTML file with the CSS file means by using the link tag. We are using the link tag to link current document with the external resource. So for that we are using the link tag. Link tag will be placed in the head section. It will be placed in the head section of the HTML document. So link tag is having three essential attributes. So what are the essential attributes of the link tag? That is rel and type and href. So when it comes to the link tag, we are going to use three attributes. So what is rel? So rel is nothing but it is going to relate your current document with the external resource, and type is the attribute. Commonly it is going to take some standard value. The standard value is what? It is a text/CSS. Commonly you are going to write the code. So what type of language you are using for the content type? For that you are using the type attribute, that is the text/CSS, and href, it is the attribute of the link tag. There you are providing the name of the external CSS file. Commonly when it comes to the external CSS file, you are going to define the styling rules. You are going to define the styling rules in the separate file. That separate file will be given the extension .css. When it comes to the external style sheet, in external style sheet there won't be any HTML tags. There won't be any HTML tags. Only you are defining the styling rules or styling definitions for the HTML elements, for the HTML elements in the HTML document. So we are having several types of CSS, but commonly we are going to use three types of CSS. That is what external, internal, and inline. So we will see what is external. So commonly external style sheet, it will be used if you want to give the styling rules to multiple pages. If you want to give the styling rules to multiple pages, then we are going to use the external style sheet. Suppose tomorrow you want to change the look and feel of the web page. In such cases, just you are going to modify only CSS file which incorporates the styling rules for the HTML document. So multiple web pages are referring to only one file, that is called as a CSS file, where you are defining the styling rules for the HTML elements. Tomorrow you can modify the designing or layout of the HTML file just by changing the CSS file. So that is one of the advantage. And when it comes to the external style sheet, it will be used for the look of an entire website just by changing only one file. So one thing, what is the main advantage of this external file sheet means it is going to manage your website much easier. So you can manage your website much easier by using the external style sheet. And what is the tag we are using? We are using the link tag. Commonly the link tag will go inside the header section of the HTML document. If you look at here, this is example how you can write the link tag. So link tag is followed with what? Three attributes. One is rel, relation. So there we are providing the style sheet, and type is equal to text slash CSS. So that is what the content that you are using to write the program. And href, it is attribute where you are providing name of the external file, that is what CSS file. So name of the file is what my style, and extension of the file is what .css. So REL it is going to specify the relationship between the current document and the linked document. When it comes to the type, it is going to specify the style sheet content type. Commonly, whenever you are using the link tag, it is mandatory to include the two attributes. Those two attributes are what? One is the type, another one is what? href. So href is going to specify the style sheet having styling rules. So this is also mandatory and it is required. And if you look at here, this is the example, some sample code I given here. So link rel is equal to style sheet, type is equal to text slash CSS, and what is the CSS file? mystyle.css. That's the name of the file. So where we defined styling rules. And external style sheet, it can be written in any text editor. You can use any text editor to write the external file, and the file should not contain HTML tags. So one thing you should remember, that the external file, that is what CSS file, should not contain any HTML tags. So your file should and must be saved with the extension, that is what .css. So if you look at here, this is the CSS file which contains styling rules or definitions. That is what h1 is the element. For that element you are defining the styling rule. What is the styling rule you are defining? Color of the text is what? Blue. And what is the styling rule you are defining for the HTML element in the HTML document? That is p element. For that you are defining styling rule, that is what? Margin left should be the 20 pixel. And another rule is what? You are defining styling rule for the h2 element, that the color of the text should be red. So these are the three styling rules that we are defining in the CSS file. So this is a sample program. So when it comes to the sample program here I am using the link tag. The essential two attributes are, one is rel, that is style sheet, another one is what? href. Here the name of the CSS file, that is what? style.css. These two rules will be applied to these elements, to these two elements. That is what? Hello from external CSS, that is the content which is surrounded by h1 tag, and another content, that is what? The text is styled from a separate CSS file. This is surrounded by what? P tag, P element. So these two elements will have the styling rules that has been defined in the CSS file. So I given the name of the file, that is what? index.html, and this is the CSS file. In the CSS file, no HTML tags are there, only styling rules. We are defining only styling rules. These styling rules are applied only to the specific elements in the HTML document. What are those specific elements? One is the h1 element, another one is the p element. So h1 element will have the text color red, and that text will be aligned in the center. When it comes to the p element, that p element text will have the color dark slate gray, and font size will be the 20 pixel. So these are the styling rules that we defined for the HTML file. And internal style sheet, when it comes to the internal style sheet, commonly it will be embedded. Where it is going to be embedded? It is going to be embedded in the head of the document. Commonly internal style sheet, it will be used if you want to define style definition for some specific pages. Or you want to give some design styles for the uniqueness of the page. You want to give some uniqueness some design rules for uniqueness of the page. For that we are going to use the internal style sheet. So when it comes to the internal style sheet, we are going to use what tag? Style tag. Commonly we are going to use a style tag. In the style tag you are going to define the styling rules. So internal style sheet is also called as what? Embedded style sheet. When you are going to use means when a document has a unique style. If a document has a unique style, then you can prefer the internal style sheet. So how you are going to define the internal styles in the head section of the HTML page? By using the tag, that is what? Style. So I am using the style tag, and please look at here, this is the sample program. So what is the sample program here? I am using the style tag. Attribute is what? Type is equal to text slash CSS, and here I defined two styling rules. One is H1 element, that content will have the text color blue, and P is the element which will have the margin left 20 pixel. These are the styling rules that defined in the style tag, and in the body tag I defined two elements, that is what? H1 and P. To these two elements H1 and P, these two styling rules will be applied. So if you want to give some uniqueness in the web page, then you can use the internal style sheet. So how you are going to use the last one? The last one is what? Inline style sheet. Commonly inline style sheet, it will be used if you want to give styling rules to specific elements in the HTML document. So in the HTML document you may have some elements, So if you want to give some styling rules to specific elements in the HTML document, in such cases we are going to use the inline style sheet. So how you are going to use this inline style sheet means, for this you are going to use the style as an attribute. You are using the style as an attribute of the HTML element. So if you look at here is example is here, P is the element, I am using the style as an attribute. So here I am defining the rules. So what the rules I am defining here? Color is what? Some cyan, and margin left is 20 pixel. So these are the rules. These rules will be applied to the content. The content is what? This is a paragraph. This is a paragraph. It is a content surrounded by P element with style attribute, and the rules are color of the text should be cyan, and margin left should be 20 pixel. So when you are going to use the inline style sheet, if you want to give some styling rules for individual elements or specific elements in the HTML document, in such cases I am going to use the inline style sheet. Thank you.